Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoiler review of the movie The Blob. So let's get into it. So The Blob is a 1950s science fiction movie that stars Steve McQueen, and it essentially follows him and a group of his friends as they try to warn and protect their hometown as they are attacked by an alien creature. And this creature is the Blob. And I really like the simplicity of this story because the creature is literally this ball and this mass of just goop and gelatin. It's a gelatinous alien. It does not rely on fangs or being large or having immense strength to be scary. It just is an alien. And I like that. I like that a lot, and I wish more movies sold the fear factor of an alien, of it just being from another world. And the idea of the Blob, I think, is a really unique idea. The fact that, like I said, it does not have any fangs or anything like that. Essentially, the threat of it is that once it attaches itself to someone or something, it absorbs it, and then it becomes bigger. And so the more it consumes, the larger it becomes. And how do you stop something like that? Well, the movie answers that question. But while the movie is a Steve McQueen vehicle, and he's a great actor, and he's a talent that's gone too soon, and he has a great filmography and a great TV career. And while the premise of the movie is interesting, like I said, I just don't think this movie holds up. And I think the reason why is a very simple reason, but the movie just does not show the Blob enough. Again, it is a Steve McQueen-led vehicle, but you know, had Steve McQueen not been the lead of this movie, I don't think it would have done any good back then. In fact, the only reason why I watched it now was because it was a Steve McQueen vehicle, because I know that this movie got remade in the 1980s. Maybe they did a better job of it in the 80s, but in terms of this movie, while it can be fun and campy, its biggest fault is that it just doesn't utilize the creature enough. You see the Blob, of course, in the beginning to set up the threat, and then you see it, you know, sprinkled throughout the movie to establish that it's growing and it's eating and consuming stuff, but they just don't show the creature enough. They don't establish its overall presence enough, and they try to build suspense by not showing you the creature, but instead, when you're focusing on this group of humans, knowing that you could be watching a much more interesting creature, because that's what this movie's based on, the movie just becomes boring. And that's what I found this movie to be. I found it to be boring. It can still be fun, of course, and it is a product of its time, again, from the 1950s. So the dialogue is written in a very cheesy and campy kind of tongue-in-cheek way, and the pacing definitely reflects that older type style of filmmaking. But again, I don't think it'll go down as being a classic. It might be considered a classic by today's standards, but when you think of classic science fiction movies that you can just rewatch over and over and over again and show future generations, I just don't think that the 1950s The Blob will be a part of that category. Again, Steve McQueen, he does fine in it, and he is the leading man, but you know, for having such an impressive resume as he does, I don't think this one's gonna end up being very high for him. When we look back on him, it can still be fun, and if you want to see it, you should, but don't expect much of the Blob for this movie, because again, they just don't utilize it enough. When you do see it, it's great, and the character has a really cool design. It looks like a literal living organism, but you know, beyond that, there's not much more to it, because when you see it on screen, it's great, but then the second it goes off screen, you start thinking, when can I see the Blob again? So again, the movie did disappoint me, but it can still have something for viewers if you're really looking to explore old movies from the science fiction genre. But I just think there are better options out there. But again, if you want to see it, please go check it out for yourself. So that is my review of The Blob. If you like this video, comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.